The views and opinions expressed by the participants on this show are not necessarily those of Stewart Information Services Corporation or Stewart Title. Before you make any investment, you should seek the advice of your investment advisor or attorney.
When it comes to real estate, everything matters. Whether you're a realtor, homeowner, buyer, or seller, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title is here to inform, entertain, and inspire you. Host Bill Napick from Stewart Title will talk with guests about what really matters when it comes to owning, buying, and selling real estate. Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title starts right now. Here's your host, Bill Napick.
And welcome to the show, Real Estate Matters with Stewart Title. Thank you for joining us. So whether you're listening right here in Houston, Texas, the Bay Area of Houston, that is, California, anywhere else, we think you're going to enjoy the show as we always go forth to inform, entertain, and even inspire. So thank you again for joining us. As always, we're brought to you by Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. That's right. You can get home, auto, flood insurance, all kinds of things. Just go to Stewart.com. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management. So today we're going to talk about real estate and a variety of other things. We have our first guest. She is here from Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty. Her name is Dawn Johnson. Dawn, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thank you.
It is awesome to see. And let's tell people, first of all, about your location, Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty, where you are and kind of the area and the way you approach real estate.
My primary marketplace is the Friendswood area. I was raised in Friendswood for most of my childhood, graduated from Friendswood High School, so my roots are there. I do service the entire Bay Area. I will pretty much go wherever the referrals take me.
And when we think about the Bay Area, sometimes people think of California, right, the San Francisco area, but we too, right here, if you're listening outside of Houston, we do have a Bay Area, and it really is thriving.
It's remarkable. Between the new construction that we have off of 96, Magnolia Creek, we still have plenty of new construction going on in West Ranch, not to mention the resale values they just stay continuous. You know, with average days on market, there's 48 to 50 days.
Incredible. So let's tell people, and you mentioned, Dawn, about Friendswood. What's going on in the Friendswood area right now for those listening?
Friendswood was hit pretty hard during Harvey, as most everybody knows. So a lot of what has happened is, unfortunately, we've got a lot of flips going on in Friendswood. People have had to rebuild. Some have sold, gotten out, started somewhere else. So the economy's doing great just because of all the travelers that we had coming in. We've got a lot of trades coming into Friendswood. The people have rallied. And the marketplace just stays consistent in Friendswood. The schools are exemplary. For example, in the Houston Chronicle, an article just came out on August 4th that Friendswood was ranked number 1 for 2019.
That's incredible. And schools play, as we say it all the time, such an important role, not just for those that have children attending those schools, but when it's time to, even if you don't have children, it's time to resell the home, that school is really a great advantage for you as long as you have a great school district.
That's what draws people in. That in the small knit community, it's just everybody knows everybody. You feel like you're close enough to the city, but, it's just the right balance.
In fact, now that I'm thinking about it, Friendswood, it almost sounds like a fictitious town. It's like because it's friendly, right? Friendswood?
It is.
That has a great ring to it.
It was ranked in CNN Money Magazine the 27th safest city in the United States. So It's also known for its safety, its core values. I just can't say enough good things about it. That's why I've never moved.
So many great things. So let's tell people, Martha Turner, Sotheby's International Realty, you are known, your company is known around the world and has really tied it together. Give us an idea of as far as the relocation right now in the area that you're in, the Friendswood, the Bay Area of Houston. Give an idea, are there people still coming from outside the state, or what are you seeing?
Oh, gosh, yes. For July, our two biggest, I guess our furthest away clients came from Indonesia and Australia. Yes, we are global. Yes, our reach is significant. Our relocation department does amazing things. We have more than 960 offices in 72 countries.
Wow. I didn't know there were that many. I knew you had a presence, but that is a great amount and also a way to tie things together. So let's tell people, if they're interested in, let's say they're interested in listing their property and they're in the Friendswood or the Bay Area, how are you advising those clients right now as far as how long it might take to sell the home? And let's say from a price standpoint, I don't know, let's say it's $500,000. How's the market to sell the home right now in those areas?
The 500,000 market and below is selling still. It's significant volume, especially if it's priced right per square foot. If the seller's realistic and they've done everything that their agent has told them, if they're staging and there's proper professional photos taken and it's marketed well, absolutely it's going to sell. The 800K and over, it's a little bit slower. There's more of a timetable to it.
And the other thing that comes to mind in the area that you're in, especially when we think about the Bay Area, there's a lot of waterfront property that's available. So if someone were to, from a buyer standpoint, and they say, hey, Don, I want to be near the water, I want to have a home that's near the water, what kind of price entry point is there for that type of property?
Well, you have Taylor Lake, you've got Nassau Bay. It just kind of depends on what part of the lake they want to be at. There's even some waterfront lots in West Ranch and Friendswood that run 800K and up.
Sounds pretty nice. A lot of people really like that waterfront living, right?
They do. That's a huge attraction, huge draw to that area, that Nassau Bay Area Boulevard area. It's easy access. You've got access to Red Bluff and Beltway 8.
A lot of stuff going on in that area, to be sure. And in fact, that when we think about NASA, as you mentioned, that also makes for that to be one of the most interesting areas, not just of the United States, but the world, where you have the space program and things like that. You have a pretty fair tourist destination as well. A lot of people visit, especially during the summer, to visit some of the attractions.
Absolutely. Our draw for the Houston marketplace is unbelievable. Our arts program, the museums, you've got NASA, you've got all sorts of sporting events, whether it be the Texans or the Astros or the Rockets. We have such diversity in the city.
And Don, as we're here, the summer's almost over. August is such a transitional month. People are going back to school. People are making all sorts of movements and things like that. How do you see the year? How has it been so far this summer, real estate-wise? And then how do you see the things end up if you were to speculate, say, by the end of the year? I think it's going to be a strong market.
The market's been very strong. According to our sales, our closed month for June was the highest in record history for Sotheby's. What we did for the volume in June was essentially what we did for the entire year of 1996.
Unbelievable.
And so in July was, far to follow. It was just amazing. The market's definitely at a tipping point, in my opinion. I think the rates are creeping up a little bit, so it's kind of spurred on people that were on the fence to buy or sell. I don't see it slowing down by any means.
And all the things you could be doing other things than real estate, but what is it that you love so much about the real estate profession? Because you came in here today with big smiles. You must love being a realtor. What keeps you going in the real estate world?
Oh, I love the limitless encounters with people. I love that everything from working with a buyer, a seller, another agent, title companies, lenders. I love it that every deal is unique. And there's no two transactions that are the same.
That's right. It's like a fingerprint. No two are the same. That does keep us going. Also, when we think about it, as we talked about earlier, Pennsylvania, that is a unique spot. And I still have friends back in the Harrisburg area of Pennsylvania, and a lot of them have never been to Houston, Texas, or to Texas even. And I think it's interesting what we have here is in such contrast to the world up in the East Coast. And I love it there in the East Coast, certainly the Four Seasons. But do you ever get to talk to your friends in the Pennsylvania area?
I certainly do. Of course, my family's jealous. They would move here in a heartbeat if their schedule would allow and their job search. For the most part, Houston has so much to offer that I don't think that I would even give Pennsylvania a second thought. I love going back and visiting, but this is my home.
There's no doubt. Houston is an incredible city, and it's been a lot of fun to live here. So as far as we think ahead, what lies ahead for Martha Turner Sotheby's International Realty, and is there any new things that are coming down the pike that we should know about?
There's always new things up their sleeve. Our marketing department and advertising is top notch. The entire staff, they go above and beyond for every transaction. So great things are to be expected from them the remainder of 2018. That's why I chose to be at this company, is because they service my clients in ways that no other brokerage could. Most of my business comes from referrals, which I pride myself on. So I don't think in this world of technology, I want to lose myself in the social media aspect.
You got to stay focused. That's right. We can get distracted there. And Dawn, before we close out the segment, let's tell people how they can reach out to you.
You can email or call me. The easiest way is to look at my website. It has all the information there. It's soldbydonjohnson.com.
Oh, wait a minute. That's too easy. Soldbydonjohnson.com. And the phone number?
281-924-5683. 281-924-5683.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Dawn Johnson. We're going to come right back with even more. Stay with us on Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title.
Most people don't know that Stewart offers business, home, and auto insurance. In fact, Stewart Insurance and Risk Management has been doing that and more for over 10 years. And they partner with many leading insurance companies to offer great rates. They're a national insurance agency operating in all 50 states, delivering a broad range of insurance products. Whether you need a home insurance quote for a client's home closing or your own insurance needs, you can count on them. Call 866-845-4676. That's 866-845-4676. Stewart Insurance and Risk Management is here to help.
And here we are with Genady Vishnevetsky with Stuart Title. He is our Chief Information Security Officer. Genady, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's great to see you, and here at Stewart we have a lot of resources for our associates, and what you do, you put forth the webinars and things like that, things that relate to cybersecurity. But let's tell people listening what you do for Stewart Title.
So my job at Stewart Title is essentially I'm protecting as our associates, our partners, our trusted partners, and our infrastructure from cyber criminal. So I'm responsible for cybersecurity within the Stewart and ensure that everything is running as smooth as possible, and we're protecting ourselves, our associates, and our clients. Most importantly, our clients.
And that is such an important job these days, because every headline or every newspaper we see, there's something about cybersecurity, and there's always something new that's cropping up. It seems like the bad guys are always figuring another way to hack and to get into things.
You're exactly right, Bill. So cyber criminals are out there for one and only thing, is your personal information. Essentially, they want the personal data on you, your social security, your date of birth, other pertinent information, your driver license information, because what they can do, they can either impersonate you and steal your identity and use this identity to commit the fraud, or you can use this your identity to get into your existing life, into your bank account, into your insurance, and into your real estate transactions. We see a lot of wire fraud that are committed as it relates to real estate transactions.
That is alarming to hear, but we know that stuff goes on. But it's also very important, and when we talk about the protection that you provide, in fact, today we're recording this at our home corporate office, our worldwide corporate office here at 1980 Post Oak, but this applies to every real estate transaction, the protection that you bring forth that's done here in Houston, both residential and commercial. Then, in addition, it helps anybody that does business with Stewart all over the world, right?
That is correct.
Big job, Granani.
Yes.
How do you do it?
It's hard. So I wake up and go to bed with some thoughts, what are our weaknesses, and what we're overlooking, and where and how we can do our job better to protect our customers, our clients.
So it sounds like in your world, like all of us in whatever our profession, it's a constant analysis, assessing where we're at, assessing where things are going, how to prevent problems before they happen.
That is correct. And we're always playing the catch-up games with bad guys. They're always coming up with some new creative ways to exfiltrate this data or steal this data or find some weaknesses in our system, and most importantly, find the weaknesses in people. And our job is to stay ahead of the game, or stay as close to the cyber criminals as possible, and being able to find new techniques and tactics they're using to circumvent our controls and be able to protect her.
And I know when I talk to real estate professionals all the time, I talk about Stewart distinctions, our longevity, our stability, the highest of financial ratings by independent third-party companies, AM Best, Demotech, in addition to great relationships that we build with each and every office. But I always mention the security protocols that we have in place, some that are high-tech that you're involved with, and some that are just the clean desk policy. That's important too.
You're absolutely right. We invest pretty substantial amount of money, not only in the technology that relates to security, but only invest into our people. On one side, we invest into our security professionals, security personnel, by continuously training them and continuously allowing them an opportunity to learn more about their practice, their professions, and be proficient. On the other side, we spend a lot of time investing into educating our partners, our realtors, our brokers, our lenders, mortgage companies, anyone who Stewart work with, and educate them on the cyber threats, what's evolving, how's it changing every day, and what do they need to do to stay secure.
And give us an idea, as far as the realtor that's out there, whether it's in Houston or anywhere else, what are some of the things that they need to be aware of as they're working with their clients?
Absolutely. So I'll give to any realtors or anyone who cares for security, I'll give the short examples of what they need to do. Number one is you need to keep your system up to date with the security patches. So the vendor knows about weaknesses in our operating systems, and they regularly patch this. Software manufacturers like Microsoft or Apple produce the patches monthly, and they make it available to all of the users, and you just need to be religious to install these patches as soon as they become available, because the criminals are pretty fast to use these weaknesses in your systems, in your computer and in your software, to be able to exploit you. Now, if there's still a way they can exploit you even if your system is patched, but you're probably reducing by 80 to 90% your attack surface, if you patch continuously or constantly or quickly. One of the most common tactics in our industry and everywhere else is a phishing. And phishing is an email attack where an attacker portrayed to be somebody you would recognize.
I got one this morning, by the way.
Here we go.
I deleted it.
So here we go. That's good. That's what you need to do. So the phishing is the most common attack, and it has usually two outcomes. The cyber criminals either want to steal your credentials, so the phishing email would have a link, and the message of the email will be something of resemblance or importance to you, because their goal is for it to resonate with you, to click with you, so you will be more enticed to click on that link and follow the link. And what other techniques they use, they'll use some fake services or services are recognized to steal your credentials. For example, once you click on the link, it will direct you to a perpetrate a website that will ask you to log in with your credentials, and that's nothing but the fake website to harvest your credentials. The other attack vectors would be a malicious attachment. So, for example, when cyber criminals will send you an email and will have the attachments that has a malicious intent, either malicious code embedded into the attachments. And again, there are some newer techniques that they're using where attachments will have links inside of attachments. Again, you click on the link and it sends you to a malicious website that portray to be something that you recognize to steal your credentials. So in that respect, what I recommend is always keep your computer antivirus. So you need to have an antivirus and anti-malware software and current. That will protect you against any malicious downloads or any malicious code. And you also need to be vigilant in response to all of these phishing links. So industry around us, your banks, your insurance company, your e-commerce stores like Amazon's and so on and so forth, they know we're under attack. So they will never, ever, ever send you a link in an email, in a legitimate email, where you have to click on it and log into your account. They might send you an information about your order or something. They might send you information that something is going on with your account, but then you need to log in from the website to their website to read your message. So my recommendation, and attackers, this is one of the techniques. So the attackers will try to emulate the urgency or sensitivity. One of the common attacks vectors is when attacker will send, for example, fabricated shipping manifest or protocol. Thank you for your recent order with Amazon. We're processing your order, and order will be for something you obviously never purchased, but it will be $162 or $327. So intent of that is to shock you with an amount. Now you're terrified. You're thinking, my credit card has been charged for $162 account. I'm going to go and click on this link. I'm going to find out what it is.
It's ridiculous.
And that's exactly what they're counting on. So what I advise everybody is just calm down, take the deep breaths, and if you think this is relevant to you, open a browser or open a new tab in your browser. Go to the website, Amazon, your bank, your health insurance, whatever that is, Home Depot, shopping site. Log in from a good known URL or go to a website directly, log into your account, and if there is anything wrong with your account, you will see it in the messaging center. There will be notification or something in the messaging center.
And going back to one of the first things that you were saying, I think it sounds like you're also saying that keeping our devices updated, because many times the update is for a security wall or kind of security help, right?
Absolutely, yes. So
don't wait too long to update the devices.
Absolutely, and along with security patches for your operating systems and applications like Adobe Readers or Java, Adobe Flash, you also need to keep your antivirus, anti-malware updated, running, make sure it's running and updated. It doesn't matter what vendor you pick, they're pretty much all the same, and they still protect you against the malicious software that is installed on your machine.
Well, you have a big job. At Stewart Title worldwide, we have, I guess, I don't know the exact count, but it's about 6,500 associates and covering the United States and even beyond. We're an international company, so I don't know how you do it. It's amazing to be able to be on top of all this and to keep us safe.
That's an interesting job. It's all I can say. It's an interesting job.
And how about for people, let's say, and all of us, me and the realtors out there, or anybody listening, we all have personal computers. What are some of the, maybe a tip or two, just in our everyday life at home, knowing what you know on this big corporate level and with these huge transactions that happen in the real estate world? Give us a word of advice on our own personal computers, what to be doing or not doing.
Sure. I'll give you two advices. So one is each and every one of us need to protect our credentials, as a username and a password to whatever it is, whether it's your email, whether it's your bank account, and so on and so forth, because this is what the criminals are after. So imagine a criminal has an access to your online banking and knows your username and a password. Now they can just take all of your money away and transfer it to their account. So in that respect, what my recommendation is, majority of the services offering now what's known as a multi-factor authentication, or most commonly known two-factor authentication. Many of our listeners probably familiar with this. A lot of banks adopt this, and a lot of other services, online services, adopt this. When you log in, the vendor will send you a 6 or 8 digit code to your phone, and you need to type in the 6 or 8 digit code in the login screen in order to move on and advanced into your account. So some of the services are optional, but almost every single email providers, almost every single bank, almost every single insurance company, e-commerce site, etc., support today multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. So my advice to all users would be go Google it up and find out how to set up the multi-factor authentication with your online services and set it up. Because if I'm an attacker and I'm after your credentials, and one day I'm going to get it, trust me, I am going to get it. This second factor authentication is the only thing that stands between you and me. Between me and your account, because I will need something yet only you have, your phone or your email address, or potentially a small key fob or some other device that produced that second factor. That's the only thing that stays between you and me. The second thing I would highly recommend is create unique password for every single services or website you're doing business with, because believe it or not, the small and large company get breached almost every day, and one thing that gets commonly stolen is a password database. It's a database with username and a password. Once these are stolen, they become available on what's known as a dark web. It's a marketplace for cyber criminals to sell and buy and resell the information. And if the criminal buys the credentials that were stolen in one security breach on one website, there are automated tools that they are able to use to plug in these credentials and try every single website and every single service in the world. So if you're using the same password or permutation of the same password across the multiple services, you're really putting yourself in trouble.
So passwords, be very careful and create good passwords, and what is a good password?
So good passwords is, we in the security world, we argue for many, many years that password needs to be long, needs to be complex, needs to be uppercase, lowercase, numbers, special characters. That has changed in the last year and a half. As a matter of fact, last year, National Institutes of Standard and Technology released a updated draft to a main document where they were recommending 8-character password, uppercase and lowercase, and so on and so forth, what we all known and using. And they're saying this is no longer required because the more often we are forced to change our password, the more inclined we will be to either reuse or pick a similar password. Right. So what their recommendation, and my recommendation too, is select the longer passphrases. Believe it or not, if you pick the passphrase and you capitalize the letters, pick your favorite song or favorite verse from a book or something. And if you insert the spaces, if you capitalize the first letter of every word and insert couple special characters and make it 22 character long, but it's a passphrase that is easily to remember, your password is literally unbreakable.
They'll never get that one, right?
Unbreakable.
Genady, what else would you like people to know?
So if it's hard for us. I know average person probably have several dozens, if not hundreds, websites. There are a number of password managers that can help you to manage and maintain your password safely and securely. I would highly recommend to consider or look into one.
And it's great for people to know that we are there to protect each and every real estate transaction with all of our associates at every office.
Absolutely. We take it very, very serious, and we're here to educate our associates, our partners, realtors, brokers. Anything we can do for them, we'll do it.
And what a great opportunity we have today. Genady Vishnevetsky to be here. He is our Chief Information Security Officer in our corporation, Stewart Title. Genady, thank you so much for being on the show.
Bill, my pleasure.
And we are with Tom Carpentier, President of Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, and Brittany Tacquard. Tom, welcome to the show.
Bill, great to be here.
You are always improving the service and the offerings here at Stewart Insurance and Risk Management to your clients. Let's give people an idea of some of the things that you're doing now to even improve the game along the way.
Well, Bill, as we continue to scale our business and try to reach more and more people, specifically the clients out there that need support with their insurance and risk management services, we as an organization are constantly starting and focusing on the client to position ourselves today and in the future to really strengthen our foothold within the insurance business. So, I've got Brittany here, who's our Director of Marketing and Communications. I'd love for her to talk a little bit about what we're doing as an organization to put the client at the center of our focus, not only from a marketing perspective and drawing people in to understand how we can serve them, but really how we work with our clients to maintain a long-lasting relationship and really serve them along what we call the client lifetime journey.
The client lifetime journey. That sounds pretty good. And the other thing, all businesses that are out there certainly want to treat the client properly, improve their service, and all those things. However, as you study it, every decision that is made should be geared to that client to really achieve that and to put these ideas in place.
That's absolutely right, Bill. Absolutely right. And I think from Stewart Insurance's perspective, this is what we follow, but I also think it would be very, very helpful for real estate agents, lenders out there to use in their tactics. So the very first thing that we're doing to make sure that the client is in the focus is first we had to understand our audience. We have to understand who we really marketing to. After we understand who we're really going after and we have a very deep understanding of who we are, then we can start looking at how those two things really align. And so I think one of those, and somebody might ask, okay, how do I understand my audience? And a way we can look at that is, what problem do they have? What problem do they have that only you can solve? And so we've stepped back and really thought about that. And really, ultimately, if you ask me what I do today, you say, Brittany, you work for Stewart Insurance, what do you do? I would say we guide clients who expect to be confident in their decisions, so when life happens, they can return to normal. We are looking for those who want to be confident in their decisions, who want to be confident in their insurance decision, and we believe that our organization answers that. And so if you kind of just take a step back as anybody who's offering a service out there and you really ask yourself these questions, then I think that you'll have that marketing alignment to be able to set those expectations that you can deliver on.
And that's a great thought, because no matter what people do, they can get some ideas by listening to this segment here as we talk about this very important thing, because we have to always be tuning in to our audience. And we also know that our audience and the people that we serve and wish to serve, their needs are also always changing, as is the industry and the environment out there, no matter what people do.
Yeah, with all my years in the insurance business and the financial services business, with Brittany, we certainly took that step back. And, in my experience, if you look at people and their understanding of insurance and what they expect of the insurance when in the time of need, there's ambiguity there. There's not a lot of confidence, in terms of people saying, you know what, if I have damage to my home, the insurance is 100% going to answer. And so we stepped back and said, insurance is a partnership between the insured and the insurance company. A lot of people, need to reflect on the fact that every insurance decision you make, you're determining whether you're going to take on some risk or you're going to offset that and hand it off to an insurance company. So,
wait a minute. Let's say that again. That is so important, and that is so real. Every decision as we think about something to add or not have on our policy,
start with your deductible. How much deductible are you going to take? That means if you have a high deductible, you're taking more on because you have more out of pocket before the insurance company kicks in, right? So every decision related to any coverages you're making is, am I taking that on or am I offsetting some of that to the insurance company? And I think that's one of the problems that we have, is that people and insurance professionals don't really have that dialogue deep enough so people understand, you know what, I bought this insurance policy, I'm confident that it's going to do A, B, and C. Right? They need to have that dialogue continually to make sure that they understand, because people always, you get a claim, and I think you hear people say, gosh, that wasn't covered. Why wasn't that covered, right?
Yeah. I thought it was, or they say, I thought it was covered.
Yeah, so our to kind of wrap this thought up is just at the end of the day, when somebody walks away from working with us, we want them to know, that we want them confident that they know exactly what will be covered.
The other idea, Tom, what you said early on is that, as you spoke of your background with finance and insurance, first of all, those things are so linked. When we think about our portfolios, how much we have in savings, 401k, that's our portfolio. However, when we talk about risk, how much of that is in jeopardy? So if something's not covered, well, we have to take it out of savings to make it right. So all the time, that is a great word right there to think about. As we think about risk, it is so tied to what our net worth is. So really, the insurance choices that we make, the insurance company like Stewart Insurance and Risk Management, and the people that advise people here every day with all their policies, that ties so much in as far as our financial growth. Yes, it protects us with coverages based on what we select. For our home, our auto, and all those things, it really is tied. If we have certain financial goals, insurance really is a big part of how we can get there.
That's exactly right, and that's really the first look that we take with clients is, what portion would you feel comfortable holding in terms of if you had damage to your home or your car, or if you were hit with a liability claim resulting from somebody getting hurt on your property, how much defense costs would you be willing to pay right out of pocket, out of your own pocket?
I'm hearing someone out there saying, I don't pay anything.
Yeah, of course. Well,
but
you can 100% insure for almost anything. It's just, do you have that money to pay that premium, right? So it's a continuous balance to determine what you're going to take on, what you're going to push off to an insurance company, and what that economic decision looks like in terms of the premium you're going to pay per month. So I know it's kind of a high level concept, but I think people need to start looking at it from that standpoint, and that's really what we're doing. So people, you may be 100% covered or 50% covered, but when you leave a discussion with us, you're going to be confident in the decision you made.
and your people are well trained to ask the right questions, even if you don't know to ask them. The other thing that I was just thinking about last week is that you have the annual review as well. And of course, people can call any time of the year, but during once a year, you're going over and analyzing to make sure that people have the right coverage, or at least they know if maybe something's changed or there's a new offering.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that's
I'm glad you're glad. We're all
so
glad.
That's one of the things, as we talked about this idea of, we want people to be confident, and we need people to be able to do that. So now that we've found our audience, we found who wants to be confident in their decisions and their insurance decisions, we now have to be able to make them confident. And so people is definitely the way that we get there. And like you said, we have to be able to train people to ask the right questions, because sometimes people just don't know what they don't know, and we have to be able to ask the questions that gets people thinking. And that's why we want to speak with those clients. Those clients are going to be engaged and talk about their portfolio and really have a good conversation, so we can make sure that they're properly insured, whether that's 100% or 50%. It's all properly insured as long as you understand what you're taking on and what you're passing to the insurance company.
That's exactly right. What are some of the other things that you were thinking about, Brittany, as far as elevating the service level to the client?
Well, I think it's a combination of, one, having great people. That's, I would say, the essence of it, because we all have to have great conversations in order to deliver on that expectation. The next is really having processes in place so we can consistently serve. Processes allow us to make sure that no matter if you're calling in on Monday or on Friday, or your Bill or your Tom, everybody's going to be served consistently.
So if I call at 4:30 Friday,
yep,
I'm
or
going to get
8 a.m. on Monday,
I don't have to think, well, they're getting ready to go home.
Exactly.
So it's that quality, it's that consistency. As we're in the service and product business, that is so important, and that's made companies very, very successful, including yours.
Right. And so, I appreciate that first. And it's processes, having those in place, because I think also nowadays everyone's turning to technology, and I think our philosophy here at Stewart Insurance is we have the processes first, and then the technology is built around that. And so that really allows us to have great conversations. We start with the people, we build the processes, we build the technology around that. And the last, not least at all, is our products. But you have to have a product that's worth offering, products that you can believe in. And so for us, that's our insurance companies. As you know, we're an insurance broker, so we work with many different companies to match our clients to the right product.
And indeed, I would add the word tailor the products to the clients and to their needs.
Yes.
And as you mentioned, people, it is so important to have the right people on the team. And as I reflect, as far as knowing you guys for these many years, you have people that have been here well beyond 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10 years, I guess, Tom. So you have some great people with great tenure that are learning and that know the program. But yet when you add on, and you've been adding on all these years, those systems and procedures come into play, so that it's easy when you have a newcomer on board, you hand select them, those systems and procedures, you say, hey, here's what we have. So that gets them up to speed to be able to serve people in that incredible way.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We ask people to come with positive attitude and the mindset that they're going to put forth a great effort for the clients. And if you do that, those are the only two things that we talk about we can't coach, right? So if you come with those things, this is a great place that we're going to spend a lot of time training our associates and getting them set to serve our clients. And like Brittany said, the operating flywheels, like we like to call it, the processes are always being developed, always being tweaked to better support the clients. And quite honestly, we also have to make sure that those things, there's no bureaucracy in those processes, that we make them as efficient as possible. So our users, our insurance advisors and client relations representatives have good, clean processes that they can make some decisions and have the autonomy to really have great conversations with the clients and get to the root of what those needs are. There's a lot of buzz about technology in the marketplace. Technology is a wonderful thing, but as Brittany said, we want to continue to develop technology to support the processes. Ultimately, that's kind of the ever evolving cycle to continue to work with the clients. So basic business 101, it seems common sense, but if you really plan out how you recruit, how you train, how your people are going to conduct the business, revolving around the supporting of the clients, create technology to support that, and then you bring a great service to the table in terms of what you're delivering, ultimately landing on every single client walks away completely confident that they have what they need after their last interaction with us. So that's what we're scaling on. That's what we're continuing to grow on. And we look forward to continuing to expand throughout the country.
And anything else, Brittany, before we close out this segment? Let's, of course, tell people how they can reach out to you, see the menu of the insurance that you offer.
Yeah, so I guess the last thing I'd like for us to close it out on is you have to be able to measure these things. And so we have measurement processes that we have in place, but I think it's ultimately really important to measure how first you have that marketing alignment or your position in the marketplace, and then you have to deliver on that. The last step is really measuring that and making sure you're continuously improving and you're attracting those clients either back to your business, or in our case, we renew clients, so hopefully we get to retain the business. And you can always reach us at 866-845-4676. As we mentioned before, we like to have conversations with people first, so 866-845-4676. And you can go to stewart.com/Stewart-insurance to see our menu of services.
Thank you so much, Brittany, and thank you, Tom Carpentier.
Thank you, Bill.
And welcome back. Real Estate Matters with Stuart Title. As we wind up the show, she is back. Dawn Johnson with Martha Turner, Sotheby's International Realty. Dawn, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
It's awesome to see you again. And let's tell people, as we wind up the show, what else should people know about this time of year, or what's going on in your area, or anything else?
Well, I would just say that, you really want to reach out to a reputable agent. I can't tell you how many times I'm referred somebody because the first agent did them a disservice or an injustice. Choose wisely. The market's hot. You want to make sure that your home buying experience is going to be the best that it possibly can be. I build relationships. I don't just sell homes. Everything I do is discreet. I treat other people as I would like to be treated, whether that be the other agent on the flip side, the title company, the lenders. It should be a pleasurable experience. There should be no stress for the buyer or seller.
No question about it. Hire a professional. And in the meantime, you're the right professional for people that are in the Friendswood, the Bay Area, or probably anywhere else, right, Dawn?
Absolutely. It would be a privilege to work with somebody new.
And how can people reach out to you?
I have a great website. It's soldbydawnjohnson.com. Very easy.
And I wonder if people put the pieces together. We have been playing the Miami Vice theme music. Hey, right? Dawn
Absolutely.
Johnson?
Yes. I get that all the time.
Well, but you're the real deal, right?
The one and only.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, Dawn Johnson, Martha Turner, Sotheby's International Realty. Dawn, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me today.
And now we have from Stewart Title Business Development Officer Clay Smith. He was so great to bring Dawn Johnson here to the show today. Clay, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. How are we doing?
Doing great. And Clay, let's tell people, you are working in the Friendswood, Pearland area. As far as the marketplace, let's tell people a little bit about the Pearland and what's going on. And you've been down there for quite a while.
Oh, yeah. Pearland is great. It is up and coming. The growth in Pearland is outstanding. Everything from 288 all the way down. It's just homes are coming up fast. Homes are selling fast. The schools are great in both Pearland and Friendswood. I help both offices out. The Pearland office is closer to the 288 side, where all the growth is happening right now. And, I mean, I can't say anything bad about either area. Both areas are just booming right now.
And it's interesting, too, as we think about that, we're always talking about growth because we're always growing here in Houston, Texas, in every direction. We hear about Conroe, how it's so busy right there right now, but there you are on the south end. Pearland, too, is going stronger than ever. Give people an idea in the Pearland area, if you would, Clay. Certainly, there's a lot of new construction as well, I'm hearing. So there's a great variety of homes that people can go with an existing home or a lot of new construction now there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the existing homes are still, they're fabulous out there. And all the new construction, I mean, there's homes coming up every day. And, I mean, you have the Pearland Town Center, which is a great outdoor mall. You can go walk around in all the shops and stores and the coffee shops. We are close to Houston, but we're still a small town. And that's what you feel like when you're in Pearland and also in Friendswood. On both areas, you still have new construction. You still have resale. And homes are going off the market quickly. And, I mean, everybody wants there because they know they're safe. They know the schools are great out there. The people are friendly. We still open the doors for everybody. So, I mean, it's how it
like
should
that.
be.
I like that friendly part. That's one of the first things I noticed about Houston in general way back in 1982, I think it was. In the meantime, also, Clay, we have so many distinctions at Stewart Title to help people, but certainly the presence that you have as you serve, and you're an ambassador for Friendswood and Pearland. Let's tell people a little bit about those two dynamic branches where we're there to serve and close real estate transactions all the time.
In our Pearland office, we have over 20 years experience out there. Tara Hobbs, who's our branch manager, has been with the company for many, many years. And over at Friendswood, Dan Andrus is our branch manager over there. She has been in the company for many years as well, both as closers, and both have moved up several years ago as our branch managers. Knowing that you're going to someone who's been in that area for well over 10 years, who knows the area, who know the agents, who have clients that are still going back to them because that was the impact they had. When you're doing that listing agreement and you actually have a client say, no, I want to use this office, that's outstanding, and that's how it should be.
There to serve. Clay, let's tell people how they can reach out to you if they want to close, and I know they do, their next real estate transaction right there at one of your locations.
Yeah, either shoot me an email at clay.smith@stewart.com or give me a call direct at 832-331-2991. 832-331-2991.
Thank you so much, Clay Smith, and thanks for bringing Don Johnson here to the show.
Hey, it was my pleasure.
And now we have the opportunity to talk to our show intern here for the last few weeks, Tristine Findlator. Tristine, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
And you've been helping out here doing the show photography and a few other things, right?
Yes, I've been here for about 3 weeks. I've been helping with pictures and observing around the station, learning new things every day. It's really cool. It
is kind of fascinating because when we think about radio and TV, you don't usually get a look behind the scenes. Sometimes it's not too glamorous.
Yes, yes, very much.
But the other thing I find interesting is here you are going back to Minnesota here very shortly. And let's tell people a little bit about Minnesota. I used to go there a lot, but I really like Minnesota.
Yeah, so I'm originally from Minnesota. I like it there. It's a nice state. The only time when it's supposedly bad is during the winter and part-time spring. Minnesota is well known for the amount of snow they get and how cold it is. Other than that, there are things to do in Minnesota. You can have fun, spend time with your family, but sometimes even when it is winter, don't let snow get in your way because you could do other stuff during the winter too.
Yeah, when we think about cold too, I grew up in the Northeast, but Minnesota is a different kind of cold when I used to visit there. I remember, in fact, I could almost feel the 7-degree, 5-degree air going underneath the car as we're driving around.
Yeah.
That was on a real cold day.
Yeah, because I don't understand. There's always a lot of snow in Minnesota. Sometimes there could be a foot or maybe just a few inches, or it'll turn out as a few inches and then turn into a foot of snow, which happens a lot, which is kind of irritating. But other than that, it's fun. Sometimes I play with my sisters. They love snow. Don't know why, because they're both summer babies, but that's just them.
Now, let's tell people, too, your impression of Houston as you're here also a few months. You get to see Houston. What is it that you like about Houston when you visit?
So the first time I came to Houston was last year, and my first impression was, first of all, there are a lot of things down here. And how big the roads are. The roads are very long. It takes a long time to get to some places.
A lot of traffic.
But other than that, there are so many more things to do here than in Minnesota. It's ridiculous because everything here is just big. Everything in Minnesota, it's big but not big. It's not as big as Houston.
What town in Minnesota is it that you live?
St. Paul.
Okay, so St. Paul, it's a big city there, the Twin Cities they call it, in fact. But I'm going to guess we might have more restaurants here than St. Paul, or more choices.
Yes, a
lot. Is that true?
That is true, because there's a lot of places like downtown Minneapolis or downtown St. Paul. There are a lot of restaurants, a lot of chain restaurants and stuff, but not like down here. There's way more things to do. Things to eat.
And let's tell people maybe one or two of your favorite restaurants since you've been here this summer, if you have a favorite.
I do. One of my favorite restaurants is Cons. Well, it has Cons in the name. It's it's not a buffet, but you can make your own stuff with it. So you choose the meat and seasoning and then fried rice or noodles. That's one of my favorite. Also, Another place is a crawfish place. They have really good crawfish. They claim that their crawfish is spicy when it's not.
And it's not, huh? Okay.
No.
Well, that's interesting. And also, the other thing that's interesting, you are 15 years old, and you're getting ready to go into what grade at age 15?
10th.
The 10th grade. That sounds like fun.
Yes, because I signed up for a lot of things, especially like classes that I like to do. Not just classes, but also just after school. Like, I signed up for yearbook, so that should be fun.
That should be fun. And also, we got to know you through your father, who works at Stewart Title in our IT department, Tristan Findlator.
Yes.
So that is super awesome. Well, thank you for helping out on the show, Tristine. Anything else you want to say before we close out this segment?
Visit Minnesota sometime, unless it's in the winter. But other than that, it should be fun. You should have fun.
It should be fun. Thank you so much for helping us on the show, Tristine Findlator.